People in Germany want change.
We want to make Germany great again, and you Americans already did with Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, and I think it's our right to do the same.
You can't be welcoming someone with an open hand while they waltz in with a knife and say, thanks, I'm going to stab and rape you. That's what's happened all across Europe. Let's go to Germany. I know what you're thinking. Hey, are they acting up again? They could be. It's Germany. They never quite get it right, but yesterday they came as close as the nation of Germany has in a very, very long time.
Baby steps.
They had a massive election.
This election coming up in Germany is incredibly important. I think it could decide the entire fate of Europe, maybe the fate of the world.
Hiding behind ugly Soviet-era words like misinformation and disinformation, who simply don't like the idea that somebody with an alternative viewpoint might express a different opinion or, God forbid, vote a different way or, even worse, win an election.
He also met with the leader of a far-right party known as the AfD. What did all of this accomplish other than irritating our allies?
Why would our allies or anybody be irritated by free speech and by someone giving their opinion?
Who has elections?
Germany.
Oh, Germany. I wish them luck. We got our own problems.
Come on, lady, I'm focused.
Did you see his interaction with the governor of Maine? Who said that she was going to keep men and women's sports. She's like, really? Well, you're not going to get any federal funding. She goes, I'll see you in court. He goes, I will see you in court. That'll be a really easy one.
Shut up, silly woman.
I love, this timeline couldn't have occurred at any other point in history. Do you understand that? I'm not happy about the 2020 election. Don't get me wrong. But this redemption arc and what we are experiencing, this may be the most consequential time in American history since the Civil War and the American Revolution. You can comment below if you agree or disagree. And Germany, you know, they're trying their best to change things. Now, they're not as consequential of a nation as the United States. No nation is. Oh, I should move this back, speaking of which.
There you go.
It's Austrian. So Sunday, we actually had people there, boots on the ground, members of the Louder with Crowder crew. Of course, they're supported by you, Rumble Premium members. Without you, there is none of this, where we were able to actually reach out to, speak with, and provide you with exclusive coverage of an international election. So you have people, just Marley was dead to begin with. The left says, uh-oh, Nazis.
Right.
Okay, what else? Now, of course, we all get a little bit cautious because when you say Nazis, we go, whatever. No, but when I say, well, German Nazis, you go, okay, I'm listening. Okay.
Well, there's some
it's in Germany
there, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
You had my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
They've done it before.
Yes.
Second place you hear that is Argentina. You're like, you perk up. Okay. A lot of them went there.
All right.
Okay.
Still hunting Hitler. Now, the election, major shift. So the AfD is the alternative for Deutschland. It's a relatively nationalist party, more right-leaning, considered the most right-leaning party in Germany. They got their highest vote share ever with 20.8%. That's double what it got in 2021. Okay. Then the party who got the most votes, the CDU, 28.6%. So call it 21 and 28% respectively. Okay. Then you look at the left party, the SPD, they got 16%, and then the Greens, which would be their equivalent to like Jill Stein, I guess, 11%. Now, with these systems, like in Canada, we have this parliamentary system where you can have someone win an election with, like we've told you, about 30% of the vote. That's why the two-party system is better, in my opinion. It's not flawless, but I prefer it to the parliamentary system. If you look at the potential coalitions, even though we're not seeing the two right-leaning parties necessarily become a coalition, there are far more people in Germany who would identify as more right-leaning at this point than left. That's a big shift. I didn't know that it could happen for Germany. AfD, the radical Nazi party, according to the left, is now the second largest party in Germany. And just like we saw here with Gen Z, younger voters, they broke decisively for the AfD.
Especially young men. Young men went heavy. Young women came, but there's a problem with the young women there too. They're actually the only people keeping the liberal parties alive.
Yeah,
and
women and some of the boomer men.
Yeah, the CDU, by the way, that party is supposed to be center right. They've actually said along with the other parties, that they're not going to work with AfD. They've basically created what they call a firewall, and they've told people, like, we're not going to work with these guys. We're not going to form coalitions. They may get a ton of the vote. They may be the second largest party, but we're not going to work with them. And J.D. Vance actually went there and told them, having firewalls is not democratic.
Right.
It's not what the people want, obviously. So boomers, when you guys go, this country goes further right. Ladies, when you wise up to the crap that's going on, because you're the ones being stabbed and raped in this country, you should probably be careful. Maybe vote for people who are going to protect you. That country's going to go real hard right pretty fast. Now, hopefully, again, not too far right. It is Germany. We have to be careful.
Yeah. Well, how we view hard right, because let's be honest, Hitler was
not really right.
No, he wasn't really right. It's not right and left like we view it, but he was a nationalist socialist, right? You have to view it within the context of their party. To say that Hitler would be pro-MAGA is silly. It's dumb. It's goofy dum-dum talk. If you look at the policies outside of the racism, and the left has done a good job at making you believe that racism automatically equals conservative, let's just ignore slavery here. Let's just ignore affirmative action. Let's just ignore Lyndon Johnson. Let's just ignore the Model Cities program. Let's just ignore the welfare state. Let's just ignore the government's creation of baby mamas, right? Racism equals conservative. Okay, take out racism. You'd be hard-pressed to find a single policy from the Nazis that would bear any resemblance or have anything in common to American conservatives today. That is my stance. Now, shorthand of that is Hitler was a socialist liberal because it's more fun to say.
Hitler bad, yes.
Yes, Hitler bad.
Always.
The key issues you're seeing in Germany, and this is how the United States is the tip of the spear. Because if we hadn't popped our head out, guess what? It wouldn't happen anywhere else. And you're going to see a change in Canada as well. People are fed up. Mass migration, of course, immigration in general, free speech were really big issues in this election.
Yeah.
You may not know this, in Germany, people are jailed for hate speech. That's pretty much everywhere in the world outside the United States. And we would have gotten there if the Democrats had won again. You would not have freedom of speech. It would no longer exist. That is what was at stake. That's why it was such a monumental election. And I was consistent about it all the way through. So those were key issues. Within hours of landing in Berlin, our reporters here, our team, walked by in Germany. And it just as an encapsulation of all of this, they reported they happened to be where a stabbing had taken place in the street that generated worldwide headlines. So our people were there. Here's the video as it occurred in real time.
We're reporting here live on the ground. There was a stabbing in Berlin, right near the Holocaust Memorial. You can see behind me that the police are out here. I've heard there's one arrest that has been made. There's been no motive or indicator of who the suspect is yet. I just spoke with the police and didn't get much, but journalists around here seem to think there's going to be an update coming very soon. So stay with me and hopefully we can find out. And remember, this is just less than 48 hours ahead of the election on Sunday. So quite a welcome to Berlin. Is there any indication this is an asylum seeker like the recent attacks?
At this moment of the investigation, we don't have any clear evidence for anything. We don't have a hint on specialties concerning his nationality or his origin. We just know we arrested a male suspect who had blood on his hands that made him very suspicious.
Yeah, I'd say so. He's holding the knife.
We had to make an arrest, and this person is now in custody.
German prosecutors say the suspect in a knife attack at the Holocaust Memorial in Berlin is a 19-year-old refugee from Syria.
Oh. A 19-year-old Syrian refugee who also allegedly said he wanted to kill Jews.
Who could have seen it coming?
That, in my opinion, that makes him suspicious.
Yeah, wasn't one of those Christian Syrians?
Yes, yeah. I'm sure he was one of those Christian Syrians. He had blood all over his hands in the knife, saying, I did it, I killed that man. And we thought that made him suspicious.
What, maybe he was a butcher?
We don't know.
No, he walked up and he goes, detectives!
Also, we are still solving the great cookie jar caper, but we do have strong leads with this man who still has his hand physically caught in a cookie jar currently.
We're not sure.
If you don't know anything about him, but he was a little tan.
That's right.
I know.
Didn't speak any German.
Didn't speak any German, that's right.
It was weird.
Also, he really hates Jews, so we have to look into that.
That doesn't narrow it down. I hear you.
Yes, there's a lot of them. They've been raping.
Coincidence that it was at the Holocaust Memorial.
Yes.
This is a nation that has been brought to its knees from guilt. And I get it, Germany. They should have some guilt. It's a little bit different from other nations.
Right. Just a little guilt?
Yeah, but at this point, you end up committing national suicide.
Yeah.
And it's not because of skin brown, skin black. It's not because It's because you are bringing in and welcoming people. You can't be welcoming someone with an open hand while they waltz in with a knife and say, thanks, I'm going to stab and rape you. That's what's happened all across Europe. And to accommodate these people, they jail their own citizens for speaking out against it. This is how nations fall, from within. Now, in fairness, the victim in question here didn't take the precautions he could have, as seen from this German PSA.
Und ich schlage zum Kopf. Ich treffe den Kopf und die Augen.
Dead like 5 times there.
He was cut at least twice.
Oh my gosh.
He hit her before she started stabbing.
Yes.
And it still would do nothing. That was a towel, right?
Yes, it's a towel.
It's a towel, and you're not even snapping it or wrapping your arm to try and prevent being cut?
Put a knot on it.
Yeah, that wouldn't even stop a mosquito, dude.
Why do we need immigration policy when we have the force field of the towel?
Syrians don't know what to do.
Do you like that in your face? Huh? That's right. That's right. I didn't wash it on hot. It's musty.
Is he German Jackie Chan?
Wait till you see what I can do with a rake and a bucket.
Oh my gosh.
And this is where when you say, oh, you gunned. Yeah, you know what I want to see? I want to see a woman with a gun blow away a 19-year-old Syrian refugee intent on raping or stabbing.
Yeah.
Oh, guns are more lethal. Great.
Exactly. That's the point.
That's the point. When people say these are designed to kill, to do one thing.
Yes.
Kill people. Mm-hmm.
Are you selling me them right now? Is that what's going on?
Come on.
Meanwhile, somewhere in Europe, someone's going, it's the knives.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always been the knives.
That's right.
It's not the 19-year-old Syrian immigrant who hates Jews.
Kutko's like, we're selling them.
First, we will get rid of the knives, and we will deal with the problem of towels when we get there.
So that's next on the list.
That's next on the
and
list.
We have lots of lists.
That's right.
You're on one.
We will mandate fabric softener. It's too bristly.
It's inhumane.
It's like hitting him with a Brillo pad. We're not monsters. Now, watch that again. That's an actual thing, teaching Germans how to fight back against knife attack. You want to talk about, okay, I want you in your head, picture white guilt, okay? Open them, play.
Und ich schlage zum Kopf. Ich treffe den Kopf und die Augen.
Dead.
Okay, 2 major points. Number 1, that is definitely not enough violence to deal with a refugee stabber. Number 2, that is far too much violence for dealing with a willing female participant.
That first smack was a solid contact.
Yeah, the first one was good.
Like, this would not do enough at all for a stabber. But again, can we just, I'm sorry, watch that first smack. She's like, okay, I volunteer. All right, I'll just come at you and we'll sort of choreograph it. He's like, yeah, don't worry. I got you. I've done this many times.
Und ich schlage zum Kopf.
What the hell? He missed the second hit.
He missed like 2 or 3 times.
I know.
Don't run into that guy at the Russian Banya.
Nine!
It's his class.
It's like the German great Santini. What, are you going to cry? You're going to cry? Huh? Cry! So, what you just saw, those are the kinds of events and videos and PSAs that lead to AfD, what people refer to as the far-right Nazi party, having a huge night, a very, very big night.
What? It's going to bust out Tom Cruise?
But it wasn't complete. Because I couldn't share it with you. Oh, we have a video. Good.
Okay, we are here at the AfD's headquarters currently. We'll be here as the official results roll in, hopefully speak with some people. Why do you think so many high-profile figures in America are concerned, and why should Americans be paying attention to what happens here?
We're in somewhat like a war of civilizations.
You're seeing the words like Nazi, racist, also like it is normal, you know?
It's the Western values, in our sense, what we are fighting for. We do not want to give up democracy. We do not want to give up free speech. We are going against censorship.
This was one man, actually, and he was writing
on X to Robert Habeck that he is a dumbhead.
A dumbhead?
Dumbhead.
Oh, okay. Dumbhead, that's like a crazy insult. Okay.
A few days later, at nighttime, they came to his house and with the police, and they control his whole house.
I addressed the Minister for Economic Affairs as an idiot, what he obviously is.
That could be considered an insult or hate speech, what you just said.
Yeah, that's true.
Who gets to be part of that German society that the AfD wants to create?
Everybody who is willing to contribute to that society and to respect its rules.
Why are so many young people supporting the party?
I think that the people can see on the streets and in reality what the political decisions in the past have made. They really see now that it gets more and more dangerous on streets.
We do not want to, compromise with the Islam world the way we are living. We want to keep our countries safe and based on Christian values.
We have nothing against people who come here and want to work, for example, because they're qualified. We have got a problem with those people who come here, commit crimes, often the most outrageous crimes. If you think, we're in Berlin right now, and in Berlin we had a huge attack yesterday as well against the Spanish citizens, the Spanish tourists.
We were there.
You were there today.
When it happened.
So this person is now in custody.
Here is Stop Migration Pact EU. And it's mean, because we don't want, our party, we don't want any illegal migrants in Czech Republic.
You have to choose your fighters, choose your friends. You have to pick a side.
We have a change also in Germany, and like you see, we are now the second strongest force.
They just want a perspective for the future.
Thank you, Czechoslovakian Bill. Half Czech Bill.
Half Czech.
Now I know what the other half is, apparently.
I also love how even in their basic boardroom meeting rooms, that's like that ceiling. Yeah. What do you call that ceiling?
Drop ceiling.
You throw pencils into it in high school.
Yeah.
Even their basic drop ceiling, they have to add something futuristic. Like maybe we should have a raking blue light.
Ooh, what about a red light?
Make it well, that would be my first choice, but you understand the optic. We think it's best if you start a boardroom meeting where everyone's a little nervous.
That's cool.
By the way, blue chromotherapy.
But we find a tighter shirt for Lane. I think he needs, something a little bit more.
It's fashion, Gerald.
Yes. By the way, we do want to shout out to Naomi. I believe Sept is the name. She did a lot of help on the ground. She was doing a lot of good work in Germany already, but we kind of partnered up. And I think I understand maybe why Lane went to Germany and decided to partner up.
Oh,
potentially. I mean,
I thought he liked Asians.
He makes exceptions.
I thought Lane liked Asians.
No, but she does fantastic work. I saw some kind of collaboration stuff they were doing. So.
Well, maybe Lane should stick with his own kind. Soulless gingers!
Wow.
He just doesn't like American women.
That's right.
Yes.
He thinks they're entitled, so he likes someone who will be submissive because he's not a real man.
He's not here to defend himself.
Hey, look, that happens. You leave, this is what happens. I found out the hard way.
Yeah, that's true.
It's almost like it's a requirement to be unattractive in our politics in many ways. And in other countries, it's a selling point.
On the right, we do a pretty good job with it. On the left, it's like, soullessness does take, its toll.
It definitely does. By the way, we have Hirono on later in the show.
Speaking of hotties.
Stop it. Definitely a pervert.
Yeah.
So just like our election here with Making America Great Again, which is, a modern, I don't want to say a modern form of conservatism. It's a return to our roots. Anyone believe that the Founding Fathers weren't intensely nationalistic? For crying out loud, they created a nation so that they could be nationalistic because they hated the previous one. That's the only reason we have a country. So, of course, the American mainstream media tried to call the AfD Nazis, right? And this is why Vance, I will say what he has impressed me with, Vice President Vance, is he is now doing what we have been talking about for years. And this has been sort of, I don't want to say a pet product, but a cause of mine coming from Canada and seeing what has happened there, warning Americans about how the free speech police are coming. And he's used his international sort of diplomatic position to call them out on it.
Yeah.
And say, why should we be funding the defense of nations who don't share our values at all? Why should we be funding effectively the defense of nations that jail their citizens for speech? That jail their citizens for speech, by the way, that sometimes is pro-American. Think of how perverse that is.
Yeah.
So our media here jumped on the bandwagon because anything that Donald Trump or Vance potentially could like, or if they are supportive of MAGA at all, it must mean they're bad Nazis. Therefore, Nazis, they are Nazis. Everyone, hey, they're Nazis, just like Donald Trump is a Nazi. And, oh, by the way, people tried to kill him twice because we called them Nazis. Well, let's just keep doing it anyway. Lucky for us, we were able to fact check the Nazi claim in real time.
So I wanted to show you a clip from the New York Times that they just produced. And I wanted to see what your reaction to this is. The New York Times put out this video. Did you see it? Yes. I wanted to show you this one clip.
Should the rest of the world be worried about a big German fascist comeback? Ja-wohl, aber hallo, und zwar so richtig. Yes, you should be worried. The AfD worked and works the authoritarian playbook.
That's ridiculous. People in Germany want change. They really want to go to a different direction. They don't want to reduce the speed into the wrong direction. They want to change the direction, and they want to move forward again.
I absolutely don't agree with that. I think Jan Böhmermann is a leftist, and he's really radical in his opinions. So, yeah, I think we're a quite liberal, conservative party, and we have good positions, and yeah, we want to make Germany great again, and you Americans already did with Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, and I think it's our right to do the same.
It's a narrative that seems to be successful all over the world. We aren't Nazis, we just don't fully support liberty, equality and the rule of law. We aren't Nazis, we just want white supremacy. The AfD is not the new Nazi party, they just want Germany to be great again.
Well, you might basically start by asking what a Nazi or a fascist is, because 99% of those people who accuse you of being a Nazi or a fascist don't even know what it is, actually. They just know that it is something that goes against their own political belief. No? It's just something to attack you. And by the way, you might attack me in every possible way you want. I don't fucking care.
You have so many lefties over there, left journalists, and they're trying to bring us down, but it doesn't work out. Yeah, this is actually what they're trying the last few years to say we are Nazis, we are racist, we are against the rule of law, but we aren't. Only what we want to have is rule of law back. We want to have protected borders. We want to have more sovereignty. We want that our security in our streets should become back again. So
they maybe don't understand difference between word patriotism and
patriotism.
Fascism. Yeah. Patriotism and fascism. It's absolutely different thing. So if you are patriotistic, if you want zero tolerance of the illegal migration, if you don't want maybe Green Deal, or if you want to keep your nation in the first place, it is nothing to do with fascism. It is normal.
By the way, you need to admonish me. I said Czechoslovakian, Czech. He's Czech.
Yeah.
Different. Czech. So hit me with that. Hit me with the.
Yeah, there you go. Admonish.
Also, after that video, they did shoot us from the ice sculpture.
Nothing they said seemed extreme. Everything they said was like, hey, we're just like trying to protect our society. That's it.
Let me ask you this.
Just nationalistic.
When you say fascism, okay, people say fascism, and we know we can bring up the definition of fascism, of course, is people who force others to follow lockstep. It's an authoritarian form of government, meaning not allowing other people a voice or a seat at the table. Okay. If the problem is primarily with immigration, in this case from Islamic countries, all right, so what these people are trying to protect the country from is people who come from a country where women can't drive, where women are second-class citizens, where Christians are killed, sometimes burned alive in cages, certainly not allowed to read the Bible, where you are not allowed to disagree with their religion unless you want to face death. So they're protecting against what would undoubtedly be fascism. I don't see them advocating for any type of fascism. I don't see any of these people advocating for locking down speech. I don't see any advocacy for a larger government that will eliminate voices of dissent. I see voices of dissent in Germany saying, hey, we're tired of you allowing fascism into this country. And make no mistake, Islam is religious fascism. It's not just a religion. It's a political prescription.
Yeah.
For proof, see every Islamic nation ever. Let me ask you this. Do you think that Egypt is fascist? Turkey? Qatar? whatever they call it now these days, I don't care. Take any, Iran, Iraq, Every single Islamic nation, even the ones that are relatively good right now, have practiced and certainly tasted fascism. And the problem is the citizens welcome it. The citizens don't have a problem with the fascism in Islamic nations.
Yeah.
You look at, let's pick a moderate one like Indonesia.
Yeah.
Record church burnings.
Well, they want to go to heaven.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So we label fascism protecting against religious and ideological fascism. Think of how the left is really, really good with wordplay. They're not really good with anything else, but they are good with wordplay. Pro-choice. Yeah. Oh, okay. Women's rights when they're talking about trans in sports. Oh, we're anti-fascist when the fact is they want to implement control and one voice. They're brilliant with the wordplay.
And it's this thing. It's like the police officer saying, we don't know anything about the suspect right now or anything else. It's like, well, why don't you tell me that he's a 19-year-old or a military-aged Syrian man? Well, because maybe then you'll look at Syrian people differently. Maybe I need to, in this present environment in Germany, look at Syrians differently for a minute to protect myself. It doesn't mean I'm going to discriminate against them. It just means I might make sure my head's a little bit more on a swivel when I'm around somebody because they get a little stabby. Right. You're and if not all of them, but you're preventing me from having information that could be very useful. Information like this. You said something about Egypt. What about the Congo? They just beheaded 70 Christians over the last few days for nothing more than being Christian. How many of the Congolese do you want to bring into your country?
Certainly not the white apes.
Probably not a whole lot.
Certainly not the white apes with lasers.
No, those guys definitely have to stay out.
They can stay in their volcano where they belong.
Has been very welcoming. They were very welcoming to our crew as well. And a number of the politicians there actually had a little bit of a shout out to you. Maybe seeing if you can come over.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate you're not here with us today at this historical moment in Berlin, but maybe you'll find the time, as I said, in 2 years then, and join us then. Ciao, have a nice evening.
Nice evening, nice show. See you in Germany next time. I love
nice hat.
I'm watching it for many years now.
He's a fan.
Big hi from Germany.
Hi, Steven. See you next time in Germany.
Hi, Steven Crowder.
Hi, Steven, what's up? I'm originally from Bosnia, so I can tell you a joke. Bosnian guy says, we have this new guy at our working place, and he tells everyone he's heterosexual. We have no idea what it means, but just to get sure, we beat the shit out of him.
I'm very happy to have you guys here. Welcome to our AFD party, and I hope to get to know you one day, to know you.
Rachel Dratch.
I love how even the Germans are looking at Lane's Hitler Youth haircut like, yes, the optics are a little extreme.
Yes, a little bit on the nose.
Mm-hmm. Blue eyes, tall, red hair, and you cut it like that? Come on, read the room.
These Americans always stealing our trends.
Yes, read the absurdly blue room.
No red anywhere. 9 on the red.
I'm just confused. Did Lane walk in? It's like, is there like a pool light?
Yes.
Reflecting through the window? Yeah. What is happening?
The police here?
Oh, yeah. What a silly place Germany has become. I mean, I'm glad that these people are making inroads, but the fact is they can't even create a conservative coalition. Do you guys, comment below, do you guys understand the problem with the parliamentary system? I think we're kind of past this.
Yeah.
But again, on YouTube back in 2008, 2009, it was edgy atheism in the two-party system, man. And I was the only person saying, do you know what a parliamentary system is like?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how dysfunctional it is? People, I know we have plenty of people who watch who aren't in the States. If you're watching right now, explain to Americans the problem with the parliamentary system, because you still have some people here who don't quite get it. Anyway.
I don't get it. You've explained it to me a few times, and I get lost.
Yeah, it's just basically, if you don't have two parties, right, in the States, you have one party that at least represents as close as you can get to a majority view of Americans. That's why we have a two-party system. I get it. People have different opinions on different issues, but it's an umbrella. In a parliamentary system, you can have so many parties that you can have someone win and wield power and then create coalitions with other parties who didn't win a significant enough portion of the vote to implement policy that is not a reflection of the will of the people at all. What's kind of ironic is for people who talk about preserving democracy, I don't know that there is a more effective, quote-unquote, democratic system than that of the parliamentary system to do away with democracy. Democracy could not be less relevant when you're in a parliamentary system once those lines have been drawn. They create a coalition, that you didn't ask for, that you didn't vote for, to push policies that nobody wants. You will have policies implemented that maybe 20% of the public even remotely support. Do you want to live in that kind of a country? I mean, even here, at the worst case scenario, Donald Trump opens up drilling leases.
Yeah.
And only gets support from 40-something% of Americans. Well, it's more than 20. Hey, if you're still watching, this is the part where I increase interactions and tell you to comment below. What do you think? Right, because that works. But if you don't, you can just click one of these videos playing in a similar vein, or it may autoplay. Ooh, that's fun.